Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China.
President Trump sought to reassure a nation on edge.
You know, you're talking about 22 people right now in this whole very vast country.
If in fact things evolve in a certain way, it may require us to operate fundamentally differently for a prolonged period.
The first coronavirus death reported so far in the U.S.
And so this virus is spreading through the population. I hope it's evident to you all, from David down through the entire company, how much we care for you. And we are going to continue to exhibit that care. And my one plea is for you to reciprocate that and to care for everyone else in this community as we work our way through this.
We'll come out the other side of it, I think, with a stronger community and hopefully a better company.
I remember the day my manager reached out to me and was like, "You're working from home indefinitely, I'll get back to you." I went out to dinner with friends and we were kind of like, yeah, it's so crazy.
It felt like Richard is out of his mind doing his DEFCON 5 thing that he does.
But everyone in my life, my roommates, my boyfriend, everyone was just like, your company's insane. It's all going to be fine.
Hospitals are treating a record number of COVID patients.
Suspend all travel into the United States.
The virus spreading like wildfire.
And all of a sudden, everything hits, everything explodes in the United States.
And it was like surreal, and then like not so quickly.
And then 2 weeks later, almost sort of immediately, like everyone I knew started having to work from home. And that's kind of when our panic started rising.
And then, of course, being in the seat of the head of benefits, I'm like, I got to get to work. Like, I'm looking at myself with my kids at home, and, soon after school's closed. And, I saw it then. It was, just coming at me, like what this was going to be like personally and what it was going to be like professionally.
I was new to Richard's team. And I remember pushing on him and being like, wow, like what you're asking me to do, he's asking me to like build all these machines and get ready. And this is a big deal, not a small deal. And when I pushed back on him at one point, he said, "Hey, Sarah," he said, "everything that you do before a pandemic seems like an over-exaggerated response. And then in the rearview mirror, everything that you did feels inadequate." And like, that was so true, because it felt like a ton of work for this kind of exotic, odd, like, is this actually going to hit our shores kind of moment, to the minute that like we started getting phone calls that our employees were sick.
So it was the height of the global pandemic, and I was 9 months pregnant. We brought my daughter home, and then I got sick, and everything changed.
It hit me like a ton of bricks.
Severe breathing problems, like went from wheezing to like shortness of breath to, all these things. And I collapsed. Like I couldn't go anywhere. I was in a very bad shape. So we just said, call the ambulance. And my kidneys started to falter. There's the risk of cardiac issues. I couldn't breathe. They had the ventilator. And so at that point, I think the doctors had told my family that it's very serious. We don't know if he'll make it. He has less than 10% chance to get out of this.
The like wave of support and resources that we felt.
Like as I was being pulled out on the gurney, David texted me.
When everybody was coming out to support me when I was so sick, it was overwhelming.
That's a very encouraging thing to have folks at the helm of this company looking out for you.
I suffered one of the most tragic types of losses that any parent, any family can go through. And I'm saying to you, as a person who's worked at a number of places in my career, there's no place that I can imagine that would have come close to providing the kind of support, the kind of caring, and the kind of just, we've got your back, that I got from my Bridgewater colleagues.
I found that every single person is going through something through this pandemic, whether it's tied to the medical concerns and health, or the impacts of social distancing, right? People that live alone and are feeling isolated, people that are home with children and have no childcare. Every single individual has their own unique challenge throughout this time. And as a result, I think there's a couple things. One is like creates the need for us to just have a heightened degree of understanding and empathy for each other.
You know, having to get Pedialyte and ensure to employees who really just, you know, really needed the strength, but just didn't have, you know, couldn't get the supplies to them, or, you know, go to the grocery store for employees, or go to CVS and pick up prescriptions even and deliver them.
For example, we had a daily tracking of every person in the department on their health, on their morale, on their productivity. We literally built a flow of data that came in eventually multiple times a week.
So that included not only having people write daily updates and reading them every day and responding to them and putting them in categories of like level 5, level 1, how are people doing? I would wake up, I would drink my coffee, and I would read them from 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. Sometimes there's 300 people. It was tough. There were a couple mental breakdowns reading those things. I would call Amir and be like, I don't know, I think you have to call this person right now. They need help.
Remember that on the other side of that, we were asking people to work 70-hour weeks. We asked them for so much, even at a time of a crisis, and I think the relationship has to be, you have to reciprocate.
And so our approach from the benefit standpoint is creating a diverse portfolio of levers.
You gotta, on one hand, make sure that the people are taken care of and are in good shape, and at the same time that you can't allow yourself to take your eye off the ball and off the mission. So just that framework and that rebalancing, constant rebalancing, was very much at the heart of what we were trying to do.
What do you want? Justice! When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Justice! When do you want it? Now!
It became one of those things that was no longer something that just walks in the door, but you don't really have to pay attention to it. It became something that cried out for discussion. And I'm pleased to see that we've stepped up to that.
I think it's a watershed moment for the country, and I think a watershed moment for our community in terms of how we deal with it. And I think we're all processing what's going on in different ways, but I think we could probably all agree that there's a need for some pretty systematic and fundamental change. And you know, Ray and others have been talking about aspects of this for some time, but I think recent events with George Floyd and what's followed have kind of reemphasized that.
And I said, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is my job, and people are talking about this, and people care. And that was just the beginning, right? And so our CEO really took a leadership position, making sure that we continue the dialogue.
The outbreak is impacting the financial markets.
The Dow lost nearly 4,000 points last week.
How big of a hit is this going to be on the economy?
Its worst week since the recession of 2008.
I'm probably working all the time, every waking hour, including weekends, for weeks.
What's going on here is sort of a perfect storm for all of us and for Bridgewater, in the sense that we've got, you know, a global health pandemic, which puts all sorts of challenges on how we work and how we serve our clients and how we take care of one another, combined with a dramatic economic disruption, a dramatic downturn in the global economy and in the US economy, combined with a bad turn in performance of Bridgewater.
When you put that on top of a pandemic, on top of an economic meltdown, and boy, were we engaged with our clients.
I'm encouraged and I'm excited in that I've never seen this team come together before in the way we have, not just within CS, but in the bridge that connects us to the investment engine. And I know they're working extraordinarily hard. The communication's better than it's ever been. The help that we're getting from them is unparalleled. And I can tell you that, the 500 client calls that we've done in the last 2 weeks, the CIOs have led a good number of them.
Clients were facing two challenges that they'd never seen in their lifetimes. First, they're facing what we described as a new paradigm, but they were also dealing with the pandemic, the impact on their teams, the impact on their states, the impact on their beneficiaries. And so we were on the phone with our clients about those two things as well.
And now I think even when we go back, I hope clients will realize that we can be as effective in some of these meetings and presentations on Zoom. And I can bring more of my colleagues and strategists and researchers with me.
There are so many things structurally changing right now. And the great thing is that we've got this
decades of experience compounding our knowledge of these things. We can take what's changing now, we can process it really quickly, and then we can turn it into indicators that will help improve our systems and improve our performance.
And the forced adaptation, I think, was led to one of the most productive periods of research that I've seen.
And one of the things I've been struck by this year is how we are laser focused on that. We are meeting multiple times a week. Is it on track? How is it going? What do we need to do better on? So we can quickly turn these insights into something that actually our clients can feel. And obviously we know ultimately that has to be our goal.
So just that agility, that ability of the company and our partners across the company, from benefits to ER to security to technology to facilities, to say what do you need and to make it happen. I think that we saw that across the range of things, and I think that's a story. Again, I think that's and I would say a similar thing from our employees. Hey, can you be agile? Can you be flexible? Can you work differently than you did before?
I feel pretty good. To the best of our knowledge, we've had not a single case of COVID being transmitted between two people as a result of doing Bridgewater work.
And I look back at these past several months, and I'm not saying anything that we did was perfect, but when you look at it in aggregate, I don't know, I just couldn't be prouder of how it all was handled together. And I think about, across the dimensions of like how responsive we were, across the dimensions of the quality of the response and the thoughtfulness.
The engagement by Richard and the foresight to see where this was going, the collaboration with technology real quick on like, what would happen?
If the technology doesn't work, especially this year, there's no business. So there's no office to go to, right? Basically, there's no way you can easily invest.
To all of a sudden have 90% of the company work from home, not lose a day's work and not lose productivity for a period of time that no one could have anticipated. And the amount of work and the amount of people across departments that it's taken to pull that off and pull it off successfully, with the agility to not know how long this was going to take, but to be able to make that shift and to be able to sustain it for so long has been really amazing to watch.
And I think for all of us at Bridgewater, and I know even for my family outside of Bridgewater, it's going to be the defining year of their life.
This is going to be one of those moments in time we never forget. And we're going to remember how hard it was and how exhausted we were, but we're also going to remember how we came together and helped each other through it. And so again, I'm so happy to see this year ending. And at the same time, I'm grateful I was here to live it.
The only expression I have is gratefulness for such an amazing team of people that is, continues to be, and will be there for each other to help through such difficult times.
I think we will, I hope, all come through this on the other end, stronger. You people, when you go through hard things together, you come out the other side stronger.
I can't tell you how delighted I am, pleased at my transition, to look back and to see the leadership and beauty happen. Almost brings tears to my eyes, and it's just with great admiration that I look at that. And the most important, the theme that comes out the most important in that is how people are with each other in stress tests. So I relate that to everything. I relate that to which countries. Is it Brazil? Is it the United States? Is it which countries are going to do better? But I also relate it to Bridgewater and how we are with each other.
What's it been like to have me not traveling and at home working from home all the time?
Quick while she's not screaming at me. Real quick, latest news is podcast.
Okay, you guys go upstairs, get your lunch boxes out.
just wanted to boost your spirits a little bit to come by.
Did I get a Snoopy bandage?
You got a Star Wars bandage.
All right.
Sure.
Let's see.
Oh, hang on. Let's see.
All right, 6 feet apart.
Yeah, I have two reflections on the year. One is the profound grief and loss that we all experienced in different ways, whether actually sick or hurt or worse, people in our families and loved ones, but also just the moments lost for our children or for being together. But at the same time, there was also invention and adaptability and growth to deal with the realities of the year. And that's what gives me hope.
I just wanted to take a moment of privilege to say thank you to every single one of those people who helped me and my family deal with at least the first phase of one of the most unbelievable tragedies that any parent, any family could ever face. So thank you all.
I feel like this year has brought us back to basics as a community, as a society, as families, and as individuals. When you're confronted with your own mortality so directly, it reminds you both of how small we are, but also how strong we are.